Alright, welcome back artistic ladies and gentlemen to another Meta Monday episode in this Pokemon TCG Online series where we take a look at competitive decks from the past or the present in the Pokemon TCG Online meta, as well as decks that might or might not become a part of the meta in the future. And today is such a deck. This Volcanion EX deck might or might not become a part of the meta depending on how the meta evolves. This deck that I'm presenting to you today was made or is made for the new standard format, which is going to apply from the 1st of September 2016 onwards. I would argue that Volcanion EX is going to be a little bit better in the expanded format, because then you can make use of cards like Blacksmith and Battle Compressor, which increases the speed of the deck. But I prefer to make my deck for the standard format. So here is my standard format version of Volcanion EX. Volcanion EX is a 180 HP fire type Pokemon and water type Pokemon. So it is a dual type Pokemon. Which means we hit for weakness against both grass and fire decks, because grass decks are typically fire weak and fire decks are typically water weak, and which also means that Volcanion EX hits against weakness to himself, because Volcanion EX is a water weak. This Volcanion has an ability and an attack. The ability is a steam up ability, and this is what makes Volcanion EX a pretty darn great card. Once during our turn, before we attack, we may discard a fire energy card from our hand. If we do, during this turn, our basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to our opponent's active Pokemon before applying a weakness and resistance. So if we have 4 of these Volcanion EX on our bench, we can use the steam up ability 4 times in a row if we have 4 energy cards in our hand, obviously. And then our basic fire Pokemon's attacks will do 120 more damage to our opponent's active Pokemon. This Volcanion EX can also attack for a volcanic heat for fire energy or 2 fire energies and a colorless energy for 130 damage, but he cannot attack with this attack in the next turn, which means Volcanion can only attack once every 2 turns. And that is why we need another attacker in this deck besides Volcanion EX. Our other attacker is going to be Flareon EX, the 170 HP fire type Pokemon with the Flash Fire ability. Once during our turn before we attack, we may move a fire energy card from one of our Pokemon to this Pokemon, and then we can hit for the Blaze Ball for 50. This attack does 20 more damage for each fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So if we have 3 fire energies attached, we hit for 120 or 110 with the Blaze Ball, which is just enough to knock out a Shaman from our opponent, for example. Now I do run one more Pokemon in this deck, one more attacker, which is the baby Volcanion, basic Volcanion with 130 HP and the Power Heater attack. For a fire energy, we hit for 20 as the base, and we choose 2 of our bench Pokemon, attach a fire energy card from our discard pile to each of those Pokemon. This attack is kinda like the Geomancy from Xerneas from the XY expansion, with the difference that we do hit for some damage and that we have to attach fire energy cards from our discard pile instead of from our deck. Now this Volcanion has a very good synergy with the Volcanion EX, because in the same turn, we could discard some energies with the Steam Up ability, and then we could attack with the Baby Volcanion to get those energies back from the discard pile and attach them to our Flareon EX on the bench, and maybe to a Volcanion EX, because then we can use the Flash Fire ability from our Flareon in the next turn to move that energy from this Volcanion EX to our Flareon, and all we need to do then is attach one more energy for our hand or from our hand, and this Flareon EX can hit with the Blaze Ball for 110 damage, which is pretty darn amazing. Now I do run 2 more Pokemon, but they are not going to help us to attack. They are simply going to help us to set up our deck, which are Hoopa and Shaman. Shaman is here for draw support. Hoopa is here to search out our Volcanion EXs as well as our Flareons, because Hoopa allows us to search our deck for 3 EX Pokemon, and we do run a crap ton of EX Pokemon. Then let's take a look at the energies. We have 10 energies in this deck. 10 energies because we do need a fair amount of energies. We want to have some energies in our hands in each and every turn, so we can discard them with the steam up and do more damage. For example, if we have 2 Volcanion EX on our bench, we can use the steam up twice if we have 2 energies in our hands. And then we could hit with the Volcanion for a Power Heater for 80 because of the Steam Up abilities that we used from the Volcanion EXs, and then we get to attach those 2 energy cards from our discard pile back onto our Pokemon. To get those energies in our hand, I do run a couple of cards to help us with that. We have a Fisherman to get back energies from our discard pile into our hand. We have Professor's Letter to search our deck for some energies and put them into our hand. And then we have 1 Energy Retrieval to put 2 basic energy cards from our discard pile into our hand. The rest of our deck is basically based around setting up. We have 4 Sycamores and 2 N, in addition to our 3 Shamans to help us set up. Then we have Skyfield again to help us set up, because we will run out of bench space pretty soon if we bench a couple of Volcanion EX as well as a couple of Shaman. So we need more bench space, and Skyfield is going to help us with that, so we can bench our baby Volcanion as well as our Flareon EX. In addition to our Volcanion EXs, we have 4 Ultra Balls to search out our Pokemon, mainly to search out our Hoopa at the start of the game, and then Hoopa for Volcanion EX as well as a Flareon EX, as well as 1 copy of Shaman EX. Then also 4 Trainer's Mail for consistency to help us look for our supporters, to help us look for our Ultra Balls, as well as maybe our energy retrieval cards like the energy retrieval. And we could also look for the Heavy Ball, 1 copy of Heavy Ball. Heavy Ball is here to get out of Volcanion EX, because Volcanion EX does have 3 retreat costs, so we can use the Heavy Ball to search out Volcanion EX from our deck. Now, because of this heavy retreat cost, and because of the pretty hefty retreat cost from our other Pokemon as well, since Flareon EX does have a 2 retreat cost, as well as the Volcanion, as well as the Hoopa, we do run a couple of switching cards, 2 Float Stones to attach to our Volcanion EXs on the bench, as well as our Hoopa, and 2 Escape Robes. Escape Robes are also going to help us out against Jolteon EX. We only run basic Pokemon in his deck, so if we are up against Jolteon EX, we need to use our Escape Robe to make sure we get that Jolteon EX out of the active spot, get rid of the effect of Jolteon EX attacks which prevent damage from basic Pokemon, so from all of our Pokemon in our deck, and then we can Lysander out that Jolteon back in the active spot and attack it with one of our basic Pokemon, because we reset that effect. We could also use a Pokemon Ranger to do the same thing. Pokemon Ranger, the supporter from the Steam Siege expansion, removes all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So we have 2 outs against Jolteon EX. We have the Pokemon Ranger and we have the Escape Robes. Then, do we have anything else left to discuss? I think we have a couple of cards left. We have 1 Hexmaniac to deal with Vileplume decks, so we can get rid of the item lock to deal with Greninja Break as well. Greninja Break is a very tough matchup for us, since Greninja Break does hit for weakness against all of our attackers. So we need that Hexmaniac here to shut down the Greninja's giant water shurikens if we want to stand a chance at winning that game. And we do have 4 VS Seekers to get back our Hexmaniacs from the discard pile, as well as any other supporter that we want to reuse. For example, the Lysander to Lysander out my opponent's Shaman, since we do hit for an easy knockouts on the Shamans with our Flareon EX here. Flareon EX very easily hits for 110 damage with the Blaze Ball. And then finally we have 1 more card, or 2 more cards left to discuss, actually 3 more cards. We have 1 Super Odds to shuffle back our Pokemon in our deck, the Flareon for example, or the Volcanion EX if they got knocked out, as well as some energies at some point, but we have the Fisherman to do that as well. Then we have 2 Fighting Fury Bells for all of our basic Pokemon, mainly for the Baby Volcanion and the Flareon EX, since we will want to attach a Float Stone to the Volcanion EX instead of a Fighting Fury Belt, simply because we are not really going to attack with Volcanion EX. And finally we have 1 copy of a Weakness Policy. This Weakness Policy gets rid of the weakness on our Pokemon, so if we are up against Greninja Break, we could attach this to our Flareon EX and make sure that Greninja Break cannot hit for weakness against our Flareon EX. Same goes for other water decks like Aqua Box, but Aqua Box will not be a thing anymore in the new standard format, because Seismitoad is going to get rotated out of the standard format and into the expanded format, so we don't really need to worry about that. But it is still nice to have this Weakness Policy. Make sure you can get rid of 1 Pokemon's weakness when you are up against a water deck. And that is basically it for this Volcanion EX Steam Siege deck for the new standard format. If you've got any questions about this deck, just hit me up down below in the comment section and I will reply to your questions as soon as I can. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy the upcoming battles with Volcanion EX, because I will find myself some opponents in the versus ladder right now to show you this deck in action against some of the decks out there in the current meta. I'll see you in the battles in a moment. Actually, before we start the battles, I have a very important remark to make about the list that I just analyzed. This is not really the list that I originally wanted to play with. The original list that I wanted to play with included only 3 Trainer's Mail and then 1 copy of the card called Ninja Boy. This card here, Ninja Boy, is a supporter card which allows us to choose one of our basic Pokemon in play and then search our deck for a basic Pokemon, switch it with the Pokemon that we chose before. So for example, if we we have a Volcanion EX on our bench with 3 fire energies attached to it, then we could play a Ninja Boy. Ninja Boy would then allow us to search our deck for a Flareon EX, for example, and switch that Flareon EX with our Volcanion EX. Just like that, we have a Flareon EX with 3 energies on it, because Ninja Boy does say that we keep the energies from the previous Pokemon attached to the new Pokemon. So it is a very useful card in this deck. Sadly, this card is banned at the moment on the PTCGO due to a glitch or a bug, so I could not use it. I had to take it out and replace it with the Trainer's Mail, but I highly recommend for anyone watching this video after the card got unbanned to include 1 Ninja Boy instead of 1 Trainer's Mail. So reduce the Trainer's Mail count from 4 to 3 and include that 1 Ninja Boy. That is my recommendation to you. Anyways, let's find ourselves some opponents for real now in the versus ladder. We are up against Ash Mostasa with a fighting and a colorless deck. Very likely a Garchomp. Can we take the win against this Garchomp deck? Our main attacker is going to be the baby Volcanion, because that is not an EX, and we should be able to trade fairly equally in the prizes here with the Garchomp deck if we can use our baby Volcanion, because baby Volcanion can hit for 90 damage if you have 2 Volcanion EX in play and can use the steam up, and has 130 HP, which is very similar to the Garchomp. We start off with Shaman. Both of us start off with the Shaman, so pretty bad start for the both of us. I do have a very bad hand actually. The Trainer's Mail is the only useful card right now, so we'll have to see if we can find a draw supporter from the Trainer's Mail or from the top deck. And my opponent only has the Fighting Fury Belt, so has a very bad hand as well. Trainer's Mail it is. We find nothing. We find our Fighting Fury Belt, just like my opponent. I will leave that in the deck. No need for the Fighting Fury Belt. I will attach an energy to my Shaman, play down my Skyfield so I can draw into some more cards. With this Shaman here, draw into 3 more cards actually. Or to be precise, can we find an Ultra Ball for a Hoopa? We get a Volcanion, but that's about it. So we will end our turn here and see what our opponent does. Oh my goodness, both of us with a terrible start. My start was a little bit better than my opponent's start. Just a little bit, because we did manage to get a Shaman down and a Volcanion. 3 energies are prized: a Veilseeker, a Muscle Band, and a Skyla. And a pass of the turn. A Lysander, very useful, very useful. Alright, let's start powering up our Volcanion EX. Maybe I could Sky Return my Shaman, but I will wait 1 turn. I will start powering up my Volcanion EX first of all. In the next turn, I might just Sky Return my Shaman. However, if we do that, we won't be able to draw into any cards, I think. Nope, I don't think so. A Flareon EX. Let's bench the Flareon EX. Let's maybe move an energy to our Flareon EX or attach to our Flareon EX. And then Flash Fire as well. Yes. And then we can attack with the Flareon in the next turn. That's fantastic. Alrighty. At least we will be able to attack. It won't be a KO. We will be 40 damage short because of the Fighting Fury Belt from our opponent. But at least we can attack. An energy on the Shaman and a Hex Maniac from our opponent. Pass of the turn. A Fighting Fury Belt. And let's put this on our Flareon EX. Then let's use our Professor's Letter. Grab ourselves 2 more energies from our deck. We will attach 1 to our Flareon. We could discard 1, but we are still... No, actually we have the game here. We have the game with the Steam Up. And let's use the Steam Up if we can. We cannot because my opponent used the Hex Maniac. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was so close. We had the game here. If only we could have used the Steam Up ability. We would have hit for 30 more, and that would have been a KO on the Shaman. I cannot believe that just happened. Wow. And now my opponent finds the Carbink. Are you kidding me? Oh boy. Max Elixir onto that Carbink. Nope, Max Elixir fails. A Muscle Band on the Carbink. This is going to be... This was so decisive, and retreats into the Carbink as well. Of course my opponent does. We will Lysander the Shaman, I think, unless we top deck something. We need to find our Hex Maniac to deal with this Carbink, or we need to find our baby Volcanion. Skyfield. Alright, Lysander it is. Let's start powering up our Volcanion EX. And then let's Lysander that Shaman. Might as well. I want to keep the Escape Rope in my hand for now. You never know, we might see a Listener from the opponent. We will grab ourselves 2 prizes. What can we get? A V-Seeker and a Shaman. Alrighty, we do have a Shaman for draw support and a V-Seeker for a Listener if my opponent benches anything else. If he does not, we will get hit for a bit of damage. Nope, because my opponent could not find an energy. Here we do find our Volcanion. Do I escape rope right here? Yes, I will. And then I can draw into some extra cards with my Shaman. So we'll escape rope into the Volcanion. And we will Shaman for 3 more cards. All we need here is an energy. And we can start attacking this Carbink. Flareon, that's okay. And an N. Ooh. Do I N? Do I N? Yes, I will have to end. If I want to attack this turn, I will have to end. Give my opponent a fresh hand. We get 4 cards, but not very useful. Oh boy, this end basically screwed us over now. Well, let's end our turn. That end was not very kind to us. Not very kind at all. There we see the Carbink BREAK. So we could get hit for a diamond gift. My opponent counters the stadium. We will discard a Shaman. And there is a Zygarde. It is not Garchomp, it is Carbink BREAK with Zygarde. Trainer's Mail. Oh, I regret playing the end now. I cannot believe it gave us this bad, or this bad of hand. An energy on the Zygarde on the bench. And a Professor Birch. Alrighty. For a Tails. Whoa. Both of us are quite unlucky, I must say. A Trainer's Mail from my opponent. Does he have any energies in discard pile? He does have a regular energy in the discard pile. We do see a switch. We could escape rope in the next turn and attack the Zygarde. At least there's that. A diamond gift for 60. Yes, we will escape rope right here. That much is for sure. And attack the Zygarde. Pressure that Zygarde a little bit with our Flareon EX. A Lysander. But we need to escape rope because we cannot retreat our Volcanion. So escape rope it is. And we'll hit for... do we flash fire? No, we will not flash fire. We'll just hit for 120 damage. In the next turn, we can one-hit KO, or we can KO this Zygarde with by Lysering it out into the active spots. Unless my opponent heals up the Zygarde. And a switch into the Carbink BREAK as expected. We'll see another diamond gift. A Corina for maybe a Battle Compressor to discard some strong energies. The diamond gift will hit us for 60. All we need to do then is deal with the Carbink BREAK after we knock out the Zygarde. And maybe another Zygarde if my opponent can find another one. There's another Carbink BREAK and a Fighting Fury Belt. Or another Carbink and a Fighting Fury Belt. Fighting Fury Belt won't matter. We will still get KO on this Zygarde. So yeah, we will bring ourselves down to 2 prizes, which is great. But then we need to deal with those Carbinks here. Those darn annoying Carbinks. 100 damage because of this Fighting Stadium. And... because my opponent did not go for the diamond gift, we will put this onto our baby Volcanion. And we will Lysander the Zygarde. Our Flareon will go down, but so be it. Blaze Ball for 120 damage. And we'll take 2 more prizes. What can we get from a prize? A Fisherman and an energy. Not really what we needed. Huh. We need a draw supporter, we need a Skyfields to bench some more Volcanion EXs. That is what we need. Another Corina. Well. I could actually Fisherman and then use the steam up from this Volcanion. Because we are going to attach this energy to another baby Volcanion, I think. Yes, I think that's our best play. There's the Carbink BREAK and a Max Elixir. This Carbink BREAK has 110 HP. Which we can one-hit KO if we have 3 Volcanion EX in play and use 3 steam ups. The Carbink BREAK comes out on the bench as well. Will we see an attachment? No, just a diamond gift for 80 and then the attachment to the bench using the acceleration. So we do stay alive with our Flareon, which is awesome. That is definitely awesome. Ooh, and another energy. First of all, let's retreat into our Volcanion. Then... let's move the energy from the damaged Flareon to another Flareon. Yes. We will attach to our Flareon on the bench here. No, we will steam up first of all. Let's steam up. Then, what can we do? What can we do? Do we use our Fisherman? Yes, we will. We have so many energies in this discard pile. I don't really need to accelerate with my Volcanion. There's no real need to do that. And we will Flash Fire. Will we Flash Fire one energy? Maybe not. I'm going to put another energy on this Flareon on the bench. We will just hit for the Power Heater for 50. Hopefully in the next turn we can KO this Carbink BREAK. What we need is an Hex Maniac. That's all we need. That's all we are looking for. But I don't think we'll be able to get it. A VS Seeker for Professor Birch. Alright. I might just promote my Flareon EX and let my opponent KO this Flareon EX. I think I will. And just to get rid of it. Because we don't really have any use for it anymore. Maybe I should have done that in the previous turn. Another strong energy on this Carbink BREAK. And the KO there. We get hit for 100 damage. I'm not sure why my opponent attached that strong energy to the Carbink BREAK. Because he was already KOing our baby Volcanion. An N. We do get an N. Alright, so let's bench our Volcanion. Let's attach an energy. And then we'll go for the N here. I could discard one energy with this Ultra Ball. Maybe I will do that. Just to thin out my deck. We don't really have any need for the Pokemon Ranger. And we will just grab nothing. There's no need to grab anything. And then just go for the N here. Alright, so what can we find from the N? A Sycamore. Great stuff. We do find our Sycamore. That is superb. We will move one energy with the Flash Fire from our Volcanion to our Flareon. And then we will end our turn. Yes, alright. In the next turn, we will Sycamore after we steam up one energy. And hopefully we can then find the Hex Maniac for a turn after that or something. Strong energy on the Carbink BREAK on the bench. So opponent is going all in with the Carbink BREAKs here and a Sycamore. Discards another Zygarde. Actually did not bench that Zygarde. I wonder why. Does he think we don't have enough baby Volcanions? Because we do have two more in the deck. I think my opponents might be surprised by that. Takes two more prizes, that's okay. We will promote our baby Volcanion. We should not get one hit KO'd. 20, 40, 60 and 40 is 100 damage at most at the moment. So I will actually attach another energy. I think maybe, maybe not. Let's take a look at the Trainer's Mail. Hex Maniac, we do find our Hex Maniac. Do we have any VS Seekers in the discard pile? We do not, so I will grab the Hex Maniac and discard it with my Sycamore so we can VS Seeker for the Hex Maniac in the next turn. For now, let's put this energy, let's team up with the Volcanion EX, put this energy in the discard pile. And then let's Sycamore. I'm just looking for another Volcanion EX or for a Fighting Fury Belt. There's a Fighting Fury Belt, so we will KO this Carbink BREAK. I think, yes, we will. And we get another baby Volcanion as well. Amazing stuff here. As well as our VS Seekers for the Hex Maniac. I think that is GG. We even get a Floatstone to go with it. So if my opponent goes for a Lysander, we can Floatstone whatever my opponent Lysandered out. We'll put an energy on the Volcanion there on the bench and on the Volcanion EX. No need to put anything on the Flareon EX. And we take one more prize. It is a Trainer's Mail. Okay, a Trainer's Mail. Don't mind if I do. Please don't end us. Please don't end us down to one card. That would be super annoying if my opponent would end us down to one card. If he does end himself down to 3 cards as well. So, oh, another strong energy, which is again not a KO. And there's a Lysander on our Volcanion EX. As expected, I thought we might see a Lysander play. So we have the Floatstone here. We are going to Floatstone this Volcanion. We are going to grab ourselves our Hex Maniac. And I think we might see a concede right here then. I think we might see a concede. Alright, maybe not. That is very nice of my opponent to let us play out this match. GG to you, Ash Mostoza. GG, very nice game, very weird game. It was very slow for the both of us. I do think I was a little bit more lucky with the draws, and that basically gave me an edge over my opponent. If we would replay this match, I think things might have turned out a little bit differently. I'm not sure if I would have won against Zygarde. Zygarde is quite a powerful deck. I think it's about 50-50 here, honestly, because we have our Volcanions to deal with his Carbink BREAKs, we have our Flareons to deal a ton of damage to his Zygardes, and his Zygardes can deal a ton of damage to our Flareons. So yeah, I think it is about 50-50. Damage dealt 700 damage versus 580 from our opponent. Flareon EX MVP versus a Carbink BREAK. Alright, let's find ourselves our next opponent. Zuxly YT is going to be our opponent with a Lightning, Fairy, Fire and Metal deck, I believe. We get to call the coin flip. Zuxly is someone from my friends list. I need to get some of the new cards. He says, yeah, he's someone from my friends list. So I sent him a battle request here. I do believe he's got a YouTube channel. I watched 2 of his videos already. So check out his YouTube channel if you would be interested. I will put a link down below in the description. You can find it there, and I'm sure he will comment on the video as well. We do start off with our baby Volcanion and a Hoopa in our hands, as well as 2 VS Seekers, which is not the greatest here, because we might have to discard those 2 VS Seekers with the Sycamore. It is pretty hard to get the new cards at the moment. They are very expensive. I am trying to trade for them as well, but it's costing so many packs, and Jesus Christ, it's unreal. Like 5 Roaring Skies packs for a Xerneas Break or something. We will Hoopa for our Volcanions and for our Flareon EX. We have an Ultra Ball for the Shaman, so we don't really need to get a Shaman. I need Hoopa, he says. Well, yeah, it is a pretty good card if you play an EX deck. It is indeed a very good card, actually, if you play an EX deck. And I do believe he's playing an EX deck, so we will Ultra Ball here now. We'll Ultra Ball away. What shall we Ultra Ball away? Ultra Ball away. Probably the 2 VS Seekers. We need to keep our Escape Rope and our Super Rod in our hands. Escape Rope is going to be great to Escape Rope the baby Volcanion onto our bench at some point. Can we find any energies, any draw supporters? That is what I'm looking for. We do get energies here from the Professor's Letter, so that's good. I can discard some energies. Yes, I will discard at least 1. And then I'll discard the Pokemon Ranger. We don't really need that in this game. We'll grab ourselves another Shaman. You never know, we might top deck a Skyfield or find a Skyfield from the Trainer's Mail, and then we can use our Shaman. We will Trainer's Mail now. No need to use our Super Rod, and there's the N. We could also grab the Skyfield, but I will grab the N instead. It is better to grab the draw supporter than to rely on a Shaman to find a draw supporter from the 3 cards that we would draw into. And here we do get a pretty good hands. We find some Fighting Fury Belts and a Skyfield as well, which is fantastic. So let's Fighting Fury Belt our Flareon, let's Fighting Fury Belt our baby Volcanion. Let's Heavy Ball for another Volcanion EX, and we will also play down our Skyfield, I think. Will we do that? No, we will wait until the next turn. Give our opponent a turn, and I will reply to what he was saying. Me too, they are so expensive though. And we get hit for 30 from the Night Attack from the Gengar. We do see a Blastoise and a Glalie on my opponent's bench. But let's take a look at our Trainer's Mail. An Escape Rope, Floatstone. I'll grab the Floatstone. We don't really need the Sycamore or the Escape Rope at the moment. We'll put the Floatstone on our Volcanion EX on the bench, and then we'll play down our Skyfield. I didn't do it last turn because my opponent might counter our Stadium. And might use our own Skyfield to fill up his entire bench or something, but that didn't happen. So let's Sycamore, discard our Super Rod. Let's try to find some more energies, and we do find some more energies here. So we are going to steam up once, we are going to steam up twice actually, discard both energies. Do we need to do that? Maybe not. Let's attach this to our Flareon on the bench. And then we will bench this baby Volcanion as well. If my opponent does counter the Stadium, we will get rid of our Shaman and our Hoopa on the bench. And then it's time to hit for the Power Heater for 60 damage on this Gengar. Puts an energy on our Flareon and an energy on the baby Volcanion on the bench. Oh my goodness, we are looking very good. We have 3 Volcanion EXs in play. if we can find enough energies, we could go for 3 steam ups here and do 90 extra damage. There's a Pokemon Center Lady. My opponent heals up. The 60 damage will hit us for another night attack. That Pokemon Center Lady though. And there's 30 more damage on our baby Volcanion in the active spot. We have left ourselves without a hand, which is a bit of a bummer. We have left ourselves without a hand. Although I could Shaman here, and I think I will. I'll discard my Skyfield, discard the weakness policy, and I'll grab another Shaman. Yes, we do have another Shaman. We are down to 21 cards already. We need to be a little bit careful of digging ourselves out, because we are drawing like madman through our deck. We are racing through our deck here. There's an energy and another energy. Alrighty. Are we going to steam up? Yes, we are going to steam up here. I'm going to keep attacking with my baby Volcanion until my baby Volcanion gets knocked out, I think. I think that's my best play. Your deck is beast, he says. Oh, thanks, that's very nice. Power Heater again. Let's put 90 on that Gengar. 1 energy on the Flareon and another energy on the baby Volcanion. Thanks. It is pretty good at times. It's not always that good. It kind of depends on the matchup. Mega Mewtwo is a terrible matchup, as I might have mentioned in a deck analysis. Maybe not, but Mega Mewtwo is a pretty bad matchup because we attach quite a few energies to our Pokemon, and Mega Mewtwo can hit like madman, can hit for crazy against our Pokemon because it hits for 30 times the amount of energy attached to both Pokemon, and we attach so many energies. My opponent decided to go for the Night Attack and not the Dark Corridor. Did not want to switch his Pokemon with his bench Pokemon. And I'm over here trying to stay alive with 3 Pokemon. My opponent says, let's see, we cannot retreat though. We cannot retreat. I was hoping to retreat here, find an escape rope, but we cannot do that. So what we are going to do is we are going to Flash Fire an energy onto our Flareon from our baby Volcanion on the bench there. And then we will just License her, I think, until we can find an escape rope. Let's License her. And then let's keep attacking with the Power Heater for 30. That is a little bit unfortunate that we are stuck here with our baby Volcanion in the active spots. I start off with my escape rope, but now I cannot seem to find it anymore. And there we do see a water energy on the Blastoise, which is good. That means the Blastoise will go down, or the baby Volcanion will go down very soon. I could end here, but I don't think I will. I'll just keep hitting for the Power Heater. I'm not going to move any more energies at this point. Maybe I should actually move some more energies with the Flash Fire. So here our baby Volcanion will go down. No, actually we stay alive. Because of the Fighting Fury Belt, we stay alive with 20 HP. And my opponent switches into the bench Pokemon. Alright, we can get the knockout here on this Gengar. Are we in any danger of getting knocked out by the Blastoise? We are not. So I will switch into my Flareon EX. And we will knock out this Gengar right here. Let's Flash Fire an energy from the benched baby Volcanion. Actually not this one. The damaged one. And we shall start powering up the Volcanion EX, I think. Yes, let's do that. Then it's time to hit for the Blaze Ball for 160. If we were in any danger of getting knocked out by the Blastoise, I would have VS-Seekered for a Lysander and Lysandered out that Blastoise. Because the Blastoise can hit for like 120 times 2 is 240 damage, while the Gengar can only hit for 60 at most, plus 10 from the poison damage. So here's the Blastoise, an energy on the Rayquaza on the bench, a Rapid Spin. Which means I will now go for the Lysander. I don't really want to deal with that Blastoise any longer. We are forced to switch into our Volcanion with the Float Stone. And we shall keep powering up our Volcanion EX. I lose, he says. Well, yeah, it looks like that will be the case, because we are going to knock out his most important attacker against our deck, which is his water type attacker. And we are definitely going to knock him out right now. And then all he's left with is the Glalie and the Rayquaza EX. And I think we can one-hit KO both of them. All we need to do is attach another energy to our Flareon EX. So we will say GG. GG indeed. There's an energy on the Rayquaza. We'll get hit for 60, which is not enough to KO us. A Dive Ball. We'll see another water Pokemon. Never mind, does not find another water Pokemon. Intensifying Burn for 60, and that is probably it for this game, because we do have the energy in our hand, and if not, we could have always flash fired an energy from our bench onto our Flareon EX. There we go, 180 damage with our Flareon, a one-hit KO on a Rayquaza, 6 energies on our Flareon. That's pretty amazing. Let's take a look at the stats. 710 damage dealt versus 270 from my opponent. Flareon EX MVP versus Blastoise EX. Alright, GG to Zuxly YouTube, Zuxly YT. I hope you enjoyed the game. It's always nice to play some people from my friends list. Don't forget to check out his YouTube channel if you feel like checking him out. I will put a link down below as mentioned earlier. And we are going to find ourselves another opponent. Our MMO 25 is challenging us to a battle. Let's see who's going to go first. We have to go second, I think, because my opponent is going to go first. Yes, he did decide to lead the way and go first. We start off with a terrible hand, actually. That is not a very good hand. Let's promote our Volcanion EX. We need to keep our Shaman in hand to draw through our deck. Are we up against a metal deck? If so, we have a huge advantage over my opponent here. And we are up against the metal deck. This metal deck is fire weak. That is a bummer for my opponent, because we hit for weakness against his Pokemon. We did start off with a terrible hand, so that might actually buy my opponent a couple of turns. Unless we find a draw supporter from the Trainer's Mail, we see a Battle Compressor is going to compress a couple of metal energies. Pardon me, sorry, apologies. And then he will get those metal energies back from the discard pile using the Bronzong's DCE on the Heatran. This Heatran can hit for 40 in the next turn, and a VS Seeker for an N. Yes, alright, we do get N, fantastic. Our opponent is helping us out. He says, I think you've got a bad hand, I will N you into a better hand. And he sure did. This is a much better hand here. Floatstone on the Zoroark. We need to watch out for the Zoroark or the Zoroark. That can be a problem very soon. And a Shaman for 4 more cards. Can we knock out this Heatran in our first turn? We have a slight chance if we can get a Volcanion going and 2 Steam Ups. Then we can knock out this Heatran. Oh my goodness, Secret Rare, Ultra Ball. Discarding Sycamore and Dialga EX. Alright, another Bronzor. Another Bronzor. And then we'll see a pass of the turn, I think. Yes, there's a pass of the turn. Another energy here. I will discard the Weakness Policy and the Pokemon Ranger. No need for those cards. I'm gonna grab myself the Baby Volcanion. Make sure we have it ready to go. We'll attach an energy to the Baby Volcanion, and then we will use 1 Steam Up. All we need to do then is use 1 more Steam Up from another Volcanion EX and find our Floatstone, and we can 1-hit KO this Heatran. Oh my goodness, we find our Escape Rope straight away. So, oh no, then we need to, well, it is what it is. We will Escape Rope here. We should be able to knock out something else then. Escape Ropes into the Shaman. I think we can't knock out the Shaman unless we get 3 Heatrans going. That's a little bit of a bummer. Do I bench the Shaman? I don't think so. No, we'll just hit for the Power Hitter for 50 on the Shaman and attach to our Volcanion EX. Yes, we are going to power up the Volcanion EX because we can hit for a crap ton of damage with it. Things are looking pretty good. There's a Floatstone on the Shaman, Bronzong, so we will see the Metalings onto the Heatran on the bench. And the Heatran can then come in and knock us out because of the Steam Blast. Definitely can knock us out, but we can knock out the Heatran in the next turn. Maybe I should have just gone for not grab that Escape Rope and grab something else. Try to find a Floatstone. Maybe, maybe not. Not sure. We do see another Zoroark, and the Zoroark came out as well. Another Metalings onto the Zoroark, or the Zoroark on the bench. We'll see the knockout here from the Heatran. The first KO, but we will reply with the KO. I think, I hope so. We can also Lysander the Shaman maybe. If we top deck an energy, and then we also need to find a Fighting Fury Belt. And then we could Lysander the Shaman for a KO. Because we would hit for 60 damage. The energy would allow us to perform a Steam Up. But we top deck a Volcanion EX. So let's attach to our Volcanion there. Do we bench the Shaman now? Yes, I will. Now we draw 2 cards, which is a little bit better, I think. Oh, and the Flareon EX, fantastic. We even get a Trainer's Mail, so let's see what we can get from a Trainer's Mail. A Fighting Fury Belt. Let's put that Fighting Fury Belt on our Volcanion. Make sure the Volcanion stays alive in the next turn. Then we will end. We are looking for energies. That is what we are looking for. An energy right there. And we even get an energy retrieval. Fantastic. We even also get a heavy ball. So let's heavy ball for another Volcanion EX. And then let's team up the energy. As well as another energy. Because we are going to get back the energies from the discard pile. One steam up. Then it's time to energy retrieval. And we'll hit for 2 more steam ups. Yes, we will. We only really need 1 more steam up, but I want to attach 2 energies to my benched Pokemon. That is what I'm looking forward to do here. And we are going to move 1 energy to our Flareon with the Flash Fire ability. Because the Flareon can attack continuously and the Volcanion EX cannot. There it is, Power Heater for 240 damage just for a single energy. Amazing stuff right there. Amazing stuff. The Zoroark can come in and hit us for 150 damage, but that is not enough to knock us out. Actually, let's see, 160, but that is not enough. That's 10 short. That is definitely 10 short. And we can very easily one-hit KO the Zoroark. So things are looking up at the moment. Things are definitely looking up. It was a little bit scary there with the Heatran being fully powered up, but we took care of it. We definitely took care of it. In the next turn, I'm going to Sycamore. Oh, another Heatran. 1 more Heatran here. Does my opponent not play Genesect? We see a Metalings onto the Zoroark on the bench, I think. Onto the Shaman. Okay, will my opponent Sky Return the Shaman maybe? And another Metalings. That's too bad. I would have loved to Lysander out the Shaman. He knows. An energy on the Heatran. And the Sky Return from the Shaman. Can you believe it? My opponent is going to go for the Sky Return. What does he promote? The Zoroark. He promotes the Zoroark. We can get an easy KO here. All we really need is another energy. And we can knock out the Zoroark. Do we need the Fisherman? I will grab it. So we can discard it with our Sycamore. And then we can Via Seeker for the Fisherman later on. So let's discard the Fisherman right here. We are not going to Lysander. I could Lysander out the Bronzong, but we need another energy to one-hit KO it. A Floatstone, fantastic. And there is the energy that we needed for the Steam Up for the KO here. So let's discard the energy with the Steam Up. Might as well get out some more energies. No, we'll keep this in our hand for the next turn. We won't reveal that. And we will Flash Fire an energy at the moment onto our Flareon EX. Make sure the Flareon EX is powered up. And that's all we really need for energies on the Flareon. We'll put an energy on the Volcanion. And we will take another prize. Hex Maniac. That's good. We can use our Hex Maniac to shut down the Metalings from our opponents. This time around, my opponent can knock us out with the Zoroark Break or with the Zoroark if he finds a DCE. Super Odds is going to shuffle back the Zoroark maybe. We know my opponent plays DCE, so we can see a knockout right here. Dialga, Heatran, and something else. Interesting. Maybe my opponent is going to go for the Dialga. I wonder. An energy on the Zoroark, not a DCE. I think that's it then. That is it. Floatstone on the Bronzong on the bench. Retreats into that Bronzong. Yep, that is definitely it. And a Shaman for 1 more card. Well, we could always see an escape rope back into the Zoroark if my opponent's Metalings again here. And then escape ropes. If he does that, we will promote something that does not get knocked out, which is the Heatran or the Flareon, but definitely the Heatran, because we have a Floatstone here to retreat the Heatran. Will this be it? Stand in. Oh, I forgot my opponent can stand in. Herpaderp. I completely forgot my opponent can simply stand in. So we'll see the KO here from the Zoroark. What we will do in the next turn is we will Hex Maniac. After or before we knock out the Zoroark, we'll promote our Flareon. No need to use our steam ups at the moment. An N. No need for the N either, so we'll Hex Maniac. And we are going to hit for the Blaze Ball for the KO. Just enough there. 10 damage, more than necessary. We'll take another prize, and then my opponent is kinda left without anything to do here. Promotes the Bronzong. He doesn't really have any attackers ready to go. He cannot really power up any attackers except for the Heatran with the DCE. But then my opponent only hits for 40 unless he finds a stadium. Shuffles back the Zoroark and the Metal Energy. Level Ball. I will Lysander my opponent's Shaman in the next turn. And then all we need to do is take one more prize. Another Zoroark. Maybe I'll Lysander the Zoroark instead. Don't really want to deal with it. And we see an N. Alright, we do get N down to 3 cards. That well-timed N. Darn those N's sometimes. A VS Seeker for the Lysander. Alright, never mind. We get the VS Seeker for the Lysander. And then it's basically GG. An Energy, a DCE on the Heatran. Retreats into the Heatran. Well, actually, might as well knock out this Heatran. And then... yeah, I think we'll do that. The Zoroark can hit for 130, which is just enough for a KO. That's a bummer. We kind of need another attacker at the moment. What do we do? What do we do? The Heatran can knock us out in the next turn. Let's see. I might just as well Hex Maniac. I think that's our safest play. Hex Maniac here. I believe that's our safest play instead of Lysander. And then we should stay alive. Blaze Ball for the KO. 220 damage we get from the prizes. An Escape Rope. Alright. There's a Bronzong again. Now my opponent needs to find a DCE and the Zoroark. There's a Zoroark. Had the Zoroark in hand. Does my opponent have the DCE and a Dialga EX? Does he have the DCE? There's a VS Seeker for a Sycamore. Alright, he might be able to find the DCE here. Did have a good hand from the N. All he really needs is a DCE to knock us out. Bring himself down to 2 prizes. And then things are a little bit scary. All of a sudden things are a little bit scary. We see an Energy on the Zoroark. Never mind. Did not find the DCE. So we stay alive. Retreats into the Bronzor. And there's a pass of the turn. We get an Energy. Let's put an Energy on our Volcanion. Then let's see here. I could Escape Rope, force my opponent to promote something else, and I think I will. I want to knock out a Bronzong if I can. We can always retreat our Volcanion. Promotes the Bronzong, yes, alright. We will Float Stone. And then we'll knock out this Bronzong, be done with the Bronzong. And next turn we should be able to take this game. It was very scary there for a moment. We could have lost the game there potentially if my opponent found the DCE. Because then afterwards he could have also licensed our Shaman. It wouldn't have been a KO on our Shaman, but it would have been very scary. Promotes the yellow Bronzong. All we need to do is take one more prize here. An Energy on the Zoroark. The Zoroark will knock us out. A Shaman for 3 more cards. Is this going to be it? Metal Inks onto the Dialga. That's too late, I think. He needs to knock us out here. And an N is going to end us back down to 1 card. Are you kidding me? Those N's. Those freaking N's. Well, we have lots of VS Seekers left in our deck, I think. And there is the Zoroark. Oh my goodness. We might still lose this game. I cannot believe this. We might still lose this game because of these well-timed ends. Sometimes it's just better to not be in the lead, I feel. Oh, and a VS Seeker. We get a VS Seeker for a Sycamore. That is it. We did top deck. We did top deck something great there, the Sycamore. And there we find our energies for the KO on the Zoroark. Volcanic Heat for the win. My goodness. That was much closer than it ever should have been. I'm not sure if I could have closed out this game earlier on. Maybe I made a misplay somewhere, which made things difficult on myself. I'm not sure. I will have to rewatch the footage, but I do think things went pretty much fluently there. I don't think there were too many misplays. Let's take a look at the stats. 1030 damage dealt versus 500 from my opponent. MVP Flareon EX versus Zoroark. Alright, let's find ourselves one more last opponent for the day. Trankmo is challenging me to a battle with colorless and a fighting deck. We're up against yet another fighting deck. We lost the coin flip. Trankmo will choose who goes first. Alright, he's going to go first, which gives us an opportunity to attack with our baby Volcanion. We do start off with our Shaman, so we will need to find a switching card here. A Floatstone or the Escape Rope. I hope we are not up against Zygarde. Medicham with Carbink BREAK most likely. Muscle Band right there. We should be able to deal fairly well with these Medichams because they have very low HP and we can very easily knock them out even with our baby Volcanion, as long as we can get some steam ups going. We do see the Corina for the Medicham and the Professor's Letter for the next turn. If my opponent does not find any other basics, we have a chance at taking this game this turn. All we need is a baby Volcanion, Finding Fairy Belt on a baby Volcanion, and one steam up from a Volcanion EX. So let's see here. We'll grab the Volcanion EX first of all. Yes, there we go. Then we will... do we grab the baby Volcanion right here? I wonder. I'm gonna Ultra Ball for the baby Volcanion. I think it's our safest play. Yes, alright, so we are sure now that we have the baby Volcanion and that we have a chance at taking this game in our first turn. Let's take a look at the Trainer's Mail and Sycamore or Skyfield. No need for any of those. We'll leave them in our deck. We'll play down our Skyfield and then we will Sycamore our hand away. We are looking for a Floatstone. There's a Floatstone. Alright, we have an energy. All we need is another energy and a Fighting Fairy Belt, and we are good to go here. Let's take a look at this Trainer's Mail. A VS Seeker, no need for the VS Seeker. I will Ultra Ball for Shaman and draw through my deck even more here. Oh boy, we are finding the puzzles, the pieces of the puzzle slowly but surely here. We just need another energy and a Fighting Fairy Belt, or maybe just another Volcanion EX and two more energies. An energy and two Volcanions, that's it, we have the game. We have the game. Look at that, amazing stuff. That is the power of this deck sometimes. Sometimes you can just get a little bit lucky like this and easily take the game in your first turn just because you can steam up and do a ton of damage just for a single energy. That was my battery is dying. That's it for the KO here, 80 damage. If my opponent did have a Fighting Fairy Belt attached, no, a Focus Edge attached, we would not have gotten that KO because then the Meditite would have stayed alive. But he did not attach a Focus Edge, he attached the Muscle Band, so very quick game. 80 damage dealt, Volcanion EX MVP, or actually baby Volcanion MVP. I think I will leave it in the recording session simply because it shows the power of this deck. Alright, let's find ourselves another opponent. Uwalki is challenging us to a battle with his Darkrai Giratina Garbodor deck. I do believe we are up against Darkrai Giratina Garbodor because of the energy typing in the loading screen. I did see Dragon, Darkness, Psychic and Colorless. Darkrai Giratina Garbodor is going to be, I think it's still going to be an important deck after rotation.
Karp, 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 Karp. Karp, 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 Karp.